Page 12, shortening bread. At the top of page 12 in that box up there, they're talking about syncopation and 4/4 time. It's a little confusing to me. There's different ways of describing what syncopation is. To me, it doesn't matter what the time signature is. I don't care if it's 3/4, 4/4, 2/2, whatever. It's syncopation. And syncopation is you play a note when you don't expect to, or you don't play a note when you're expecting one. It kind of throws you off. You're thinking, what's going on? It's been used from the beginning. Middle Ages and on, they've used syncopation. It's no big deal. I mean, it's a lot of fun, but it's no big deal. It's not a recent development. It's been around a long time. Syncopation, and they give you a couple examples there. They point it out to you in the first couple of measures. In the right hand, take out the tie temporarily and just play all the notes, and we get this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3. That's what we would kind of expect to hear. But when you take the tie in, you don't play the second note, but you're expecting it to be there. So it's 1, 2, and it's not there. You think, wait a minute. So it kind of throws it off. You could expect this. You could do that. That's not syncopation. That's kind of what we could hear. That's no problem. But when you don't play the note on the second beat like you're expecting it to, that's syncopation. And that's what they're talking. It's all over this piece, that same little thing. There's a lot of other examples of syncopation, and as we go through, you'll recognize them, I'm sure. I want to talk about a few things in this piece, and we'll start with the right hand. You're with the fourth finger on F to start with. You're in C position. You may not stay there, but you're in C position, and you're going through and you're going through, and everything's fine, and everybody's happy. And over on page 13, in the second line, second measure. Watch the notes. You're here. The rhythm's the same. Then you have a C sharp. Just pointing out what the notes are because they can throw a few people. Look at the last two measures of the piece at the bottom of page 13. You're here on just eighth notes. Finally, there's no syncopation in here. We just get straight eighth notes. Then for the next measure, you got to move your little finger up, 1, to the A, and then move the hand up, and you're finishing off in this position, which is fine. It's no big deal. Just so you're aware it's there, because otherwise it'll throw you. For the left hand, we have these staccatos. Have fun with these staccatos. You keep them light. And you can do a wrist staccato if you want. You can do a light arm staccato if you want. Just bounce off the keys. Keep the wrist loose. Then in the third measure, the third line, suddenly it's not staccato anymore. Connect them. Next line is still not staccato. And then staccato again. It's going to go back and forth between the two. When you get down to the third line on page 12, in the last measure, you're starting out, okay, you're here, because you've been in F position the whole time, right? So you're here, and then the last chord in that line is 5 to, the little finger's got to come down to the E, but you've been doing this already, it's no big deal. B flat, it's the next note. The first note of the last line, you just played this, and now they want you to move your fifth finger up to the F. That's not staccato. That's a little tricky, and it's unnecessary. There's no reason why, because it's not. If it were staccato, it would be simple. You just, not a problem. But when it's not staccato, I recommend changing the fingering and using the fourth finger on the F temporarily, and then once you're off of that, you're here again, next chord, and then generally you're really in an F position. It's just temporarily we just using these two fingers move down. That's all. It happens again over the top of page 13. I just recommend the fourth finger on the F for that one note. On page 13, third line down, first measure is a rest, 2, 3, 4, and then for the next measure you're going to use the thumb on the B natural. Because typically you'd use the same finger on the black note as the white note on this, but when they're connected like this, then we have to adjust. So I could slide off, but it's a safer and more reliable finger, and just go ahead and use the thumb on that note. It throws it out of position temporarily, that's okay. Then in the last measure, look at the notes, we have a 1 on the B, because you just played a B flat right before it, and then a 2 on the B flat, and then 5-3. A little awkward maybe, but as long as you're aware of it, you can practice that and get it down smooth, because they're not staccato. At the top on page 12 there is an allegro means, and you can look it up and find out that da-da-da-da, allegro means fast. That's nice. What's fast? I don't know. What do you think fast is? It's different for different people. It's faster than allegretto, because you have moderato, allegretto, allegro. So it's fast. But it's not as fast as you can go, because there are more fasters than that. So, I'm not sure. You're going to sing it. How fast would you sing it? As I say, bring out the melody. We want the melody to be louder than the other stuff. Everything else is just there to support the melody. And it's hard for some people because they don't have the control yet on how loud or soft they're playing. It's important that you continue to work on it, because you'll get it in time. They're saying mezzo forte at the beginning, and that's for the melody. So how loud is that to you? Figure out how loud that is. It's not loud, it's just a little less than loud. Sort of loud? I don't know. And then everything else is under that. So you could play everything else soft and get away with it. So we want to hear the melody. Now, some publishers, when the melody goes back and forth between the hands, will put in a dotted or dashed line indicating where the melody's going to let you know. Some publishers don't. There's no rule says you have to. This publisher did not. So you have to figure it out. It's not hard because the other hand's resting. When the melody goes down to the left hand, the right hand has a rest. For instance, let's look at the page 12 line, second line, first measure. You have an A in the left hand. That's melody. For one note, that's melody. And then it goes back to the right hand. So when you play the melodies, start with the last measure of the first line there on page 12. Just the melody. It's this. So you have to play the A the same loudness as you were playing the other stuff. And then immediately after you do that, the next note in the left hand has to be soft. So can you go from a loud to a soft note immediately? That's hard to do. You have to work on that. Because that's what they want to hear. And there's other parts of this piece where the melody goes down to the left hand for one note. And we want to bring that note out, but keep everything else soft. Good luck on that. You may not get it so good right now, but I'm encouraging you to work on it because it will really enhance your piano playing as time goes on, and you'll get better at it. You really will. Now, for us to play this together, we're going to go really, really, really slow so we can check the notes and the rhythms. You do the dynamics. Watch the staccatos and the non-staccatos. There is an RIT at the very end there in the last measure on page 13, which I will ignore because the metronome don't writ, so neither do I. You can slow down on your own. So I'm going to give us 4 counts since it's in 4/4 time. You already know it's in the key of F major, don't you? So all the B's are going to be B flat. Automatically just do it unless there's a natural sign, and there are. Otherwise, play a B flat. So the right hand's here, left hand's here, which is a middle C position actually. 1 and 2 and ready and go and. Four.